marketing Meatball Mafia. I'm Christina Sarge.
And I'm Allison Micheletti. Today we have an exciting guest joining us that Christina and I were very lucky to meet actually back in January at the Dental Speakers Institute Jumpstart meeting out in Arizona. John Stamper is the founder of DentalCast Productions as well as CE Exchange. We actually kind of ran into him quite accidentally.
Right.
We were eating lunch one day and we shared a table with this gentleman and we didn't really know who he was. But of course, being the people that we are, we jump into a conversation and he was actually helping live stream the entire event, which is fascinating. We got to learn a little bit more about him, a little bit more about his businesses, and he is just an upstanding guy who can provide a lot of insight and a lot of help to a lot of different types of dental practices. So today, please join us in welcoming John Stamper. All right, everyone, let's give a big meatball welcome to John Stamper, the founder of DentalCast Production and co-founder of CE Exchange. Hi, John.
How's it going?
We are fantastic. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful. And I have to say, I'm so excited that you guys are doing this podcast. I know we talked about it a while ago, and to be on the other side of the microphone is really, really fun. And I'm so excited for this.
Well, we're so excited. For the viewers, John and Christina and I met at Jumpstart in January, which, believe it or not, whole 8 months ago, which how time flies, because that seems unbelievable that was 8 months ago. And John was the guy helping out with live streaming that whole event, and Christina and I get motivated to start this whole podcast business, and John was able to interview us on his podcast, so we decided to flip the tables on him and see if we can interview the interviewee. So tell us a little bit about how you got into these dental businesses and a little bit of just how you got to where you are today.
Yeah. So I guess it's, when you talk about time flies, I mean, dentistry now has been probably close to like almost 17 years, which is crazy. I can't believe it. Brief synopsis. Was in the Navy for 8 years, worked on submarines, worked for a financial planning company, and then got a phone call from a friend at the time that said that there was an opportunity to work for a dental company selling dental handpieces to dental practices. And I took advantage of it, and I spent 2 years, out west. I got the opportunity to work with a lot of dental practices. There's a lot of key opinion leaders in dentistry. Frank Spear and a lot of these. And I just got lucky. It was really early on in my career where I got the opportunity to spend and learn from a lot of these individuals. And then that kind of took me on a path to where I was there for, I guess, maybe about 9 years, and then moved to Louisville, Kentucky, and had the opportunity to work for an awesome company, Mortensen Dental Partners, which is a larger DSO in Louisville, Kentucky. And did that for 3 years. It was kind of on the other side of the desk where I got to spend time with the dentists and the hygienists and the office managers and help them find ways to be able to grow their practice and things like that as an outsider. Then I got the crazy idea to start a company, right? To this whole, and that's been close to like 5 years. It's kind of like that Chutes and Ladders game, right? Like you go up a ladder, you're good, man. Then all of a sudden, man, fall down that slide again. And, But it's taken me to some cool places, amazing learning experiences. Dentistry is awesome. It's such an honor to be a part of this profession. And that's kind of where we fall today.
Awesome. So when we first met with you, we talked about your two businesses that you're a part of now, and you gave me like a little bit of a teaser, and I don't know how much you can share with us, but you said there are a couple of things on the horizon. Can you
Absolutely. So DentalCast Productions has just been an absolute blast. And it all started with, starting a couple of podcasts, about 2 years ago, literally just, doing what you guys are doing now, which is bringing people into dentistry, and just talking. I think that's what's been so exciting about this podcast medium. And I give you guys a lot of credit for wanting to take the time to do this, because as you guys are learning, it's not easy, right? It's one thing to want to start and interview people, but to put the whole production piece together, it certainly is a job in itself. But it kind of grew and evolved to taking me down the path to where I was able to go to some of the events and the meetings, start to interview a lot of the people there, For those of you that go to dental meetings and trade shows, they certainly have changed over the years. Social media is a big part of it. And so I saw the opportunity to be able to showcase a lot of the great people at these meetings. And so that's what we've been doing these last 6 months. We've probably done 12 or 13 meetings, live stream a lot of them. But to your point, Allison, we've had the opportunity to speak with a couple of dentists, and they've said, can you guys do this in our practice? We have a lot of the marketing companies that we work with are asking us to be able to provide video content. We want to connect and do videos for social media for our patients. So that's what we're going to do. I'm building up my team right now. We're going to start providing that service to dental practices all over the country where we can come in, spend 4 or 5 hours with them, video, ask them not standard questions like what services do you offer, but why do you do what you do? Why are you here? Why do you love serving your community? What's great about you guys as a dental practice and really showcasing their team? And so that's kind of in the works right now. We're excited to launch that here, like in the next 30 days.
That's really exciting coming, from the marketing perspective. It's absolutely the way things are going. People want to see these videos. They want to see the authenticity behind them, hear the person behind the white coat. And if you share patient stories or whatever it may be, video is absolutely powerful. And having somebody to bridge that gap of helping these practices get that content is huge. It's huge. Yeah. So a preemptive thank you for that, because the more content we have, the better content we have, the better marketing we can do for practices as a whole, and the better off everyone is. That's kind of the name of the game.
And I know Allie and I recommend a lot as part of a strategy when we're first working with the client. We're first just focusing on the marketing strategy side, and as their strategist, we're looking and saying, you don't have any videos. That's one of the main things people are engaging with now. YouTube's the number 2 search engine behind YouTube. It'd really be to your benefit to have some content out there that people could engage with and know what it's like to be your patient, or know what it's like to be a patient of yours by proxy through a video, by having you speak to them about your background and your practice. And then we know social proof is so important, to have some of your patients come in, tell their stories that may be like the other patients you're trying to attract to the practice. So like if I was going to the practice and I was watching a video of another mom in her mid-30s that has a lot going on, I could identify with her and would feel even more connected to that practice.
Yeah. So you and your team are going in and actually helping them film these videos, right?
Yeah. So it's kind of interesting because we do everything with iPhones. So we use my team is unbelievable. They really have found a way to make this super efficient. And as you guys know, the quality of so many of these newer devices is unbelievable, and the efficiency of all of that. But the whole goal is to be in that practice and to sit down with the team, the practice owner. Certainly if they've got patients in there that are okay with being on video, like you mentioned, Christina, that's important as well. I think the one thing that I've taken away so much in these last 6 months, which is why I'm so excited about this, is that at the end of the day, people, regardless if they say they're nervous, people love to be on video. Like, I know it takes people a little bit of time to get used to it, right? But maybe it's not the Oscars or it's not like a movie, but people love to come on and share their stories. And it's funny so many times where literally 5 minutes before we'll do a podcast or have someone live, I could just see them, they're real nervous. And then the camera goes live and they shine. They speak what they love. They're authentic about what they do. And like both of you mentioned, it's that authenticity right now, which is what matters. And I just think that there are so many practices doing amazing things, and their patient base needs to know that. And I think, like you said, Christina, that will really connect them to hopefully move them forward and get their treatment done.
Absolutely. Do you provide the teams as kind of tips as well, like besides doing the videos when you're there for that day or those couple of hours? Do you give them tools so they can maybe start to create them on their own on an ongoing basis?
Yeah, I think that's a great point. I think that's going to happen organically, quite honestly, as we go to some of these practices. You find it, you guys can appreciate this. There are people that you work with that are, they want to bring somebody in that does it. They've got other things going on, and that's what we would do. The fun thing about this is every once in a while, right, you meet somebody that kind of sees that technology and they're like, wait a minute, like we could do this.
Right.
And if they want to do that, that's awesome. Right. I mean, like, as you guys know, anybody that wants to take a little extra step forward to want to showcase what they're doing and takes the time to do it. And I think as we go along this path, they will realize that even though it can be a little bit challenging, we'll leave it up to them. It's all about, there's so many different things that people can do in practices now, which is cool.
Yeah. Awesome. Absolutely.
So you had stated that you like working directly with teams at dental practices and that you're driven by 4 key things. Can you elaborate on that a little bit?
Yeah. So I think over the years, one of the things that we're all on our own journey, right? We're all in some form or fashion, try to find our own why, like what is it that really drives our attention? So, certainly some people, regardless of what job they do, they can't wait till 5 o'clock, right? It is what it is. Maybe that's a time in their life. For so many of the rest of us, it's 6, 7, 8, 9 o'clock at night, and you're still passionate and excited about wanting to do something. And I think that's when I realized, when I kind of woke up and I thought to myself, wow, this is really what I love to do. And to your point, it's building things or creating things that connect people, right? I mean, that's kind of where the podcast came from, which is there are a lot of companies out there that are providing great products and services, and then there are the dental practices that want to learn about them. Well, there's got to be somebody in the middle that makes that connection, and that's what I love to do. I love to be that person that can, whether it be take the extra time to learn about technology to bring those 2 things together. That's what drives me, and that has taken shape in a lot of different forms. One of the original onset of the company that I started, which was the Dental Exchange and is now CE Exchange, was a CE tracking tool. I was in a couple of dental practices, and some of the hygienists that had got audited by their state board, they didn't have their certificate and they got fined. And I thought, there's got to be a better way to do this, right? I mean, it's 2013. There's a lot of technology out there. And so to your point, that was a situation where, okay, if I can find a way to obviously connect these boards with these licensees and do something in the middle to make it easier for both sides, that's what drives me.
And I think that is such an important thing to talk about here. So I'm not sure if this happens to other people. I'll get a little mindful, so to speak, here. It is, we kind of worry so much, or people tend to worry so much about the business side of things, and I'm working and I'm professional and I'm again working business, all of those adjectives that you can ever come up with, when in reality, when you have a tight-knit group of a market or a niche like dentistry, the truth of the matter is most of these people, majority of the people, are just trying to help people. We all have our special talents. We all have the things that we excel at. Just, like individual dentists. Some really rock it at root canals. Other don't want to touch them. And sharing those experiences and helping people link needs together and providing them with resources is such a why, why you do this is to help people. And I think that is awesome.
Yeah. Well, and I think to that point, what's very interesting is that there's no question that there's the business aspect and then there's the why. And I think where a lot of us struggle, and it's taken me a little bit of time, is that when you are so business focused, which you need to be in a lot of capacities, right? Because you always people say you got to make money, you got to stay in business. But when you're in some sort of an entrepreneurial state where you're trying to create something or disrupt something or do something different, that requires a lot of sacrifice on the front end with not really knowing where the business part's going to go.
Right.
And that's the journey that I've been down. I mean, when I first started doing a lot of the podcasts, I mean, it was literally just something because I wanted to help and I was excited about connecting and having people tell their stories. And then you wake up one day and now all of a sudden it's like there's business all over the place, which is super, super exciting. But to your point, you have to be willing to put in that time on the front end and sacrifice and do it for the right reasons. And I agree, Allison. When you do that, good things happen.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. Could not agree more.
And we talk about, I think you and I, and I'll say that along with marketing. And, I want to, take some time here to plug what you guys do. I know here I go. I'm flipping the coin, so stop me whenever you want to. But no,
John, we're interviewing you today.
I know. I love what you guys do, because I think on the marketing side, as you guys know more than anybody, people want things to happen fast, right? Like you guys go work with a practice. It's like, okay, well, why don't I get this many patients right away or any of these results? And it's a hard place for you guys to be in too, because it's like, if they would just let you do your job, sometimes, great things take time.
Yes.
And the results do come. So, that's it. All right, I'll shut up. Sorry.
No, we will, anybody that's going to share a sentiment on that, we will let them share that with the world, because yes, absolutely. And honestly, we want it to happen fast too. If I could do it and I could wave the wand and make it happen, I would do it in a second. It's patience.
Yeah, exactly. The only people that can do that is Dr. Constantine. You do a little dance, all of a sudden you get a
right, and all of a sudden you're this
right.
superstar.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, our 2 team members at ADOM were tickled to have met him in person. Like, we heard all about it when they came back.
Yes, I'm sure you did. And I will just say, from my vantage point, just a super, super nice guy. His office manager, Marjorie, is amazing. And it was cool to spend some time with them. It was pretty neat.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So talk to us a little bit about, you made a second point that you wanted to bring up. And if we already have covered it, that's okay. But if there's anything that you want to elaborate on, that's great too. Is like unscheduled treatment versus no new patients. And I mean, that, coming from our world, those are very common things that we hear, if not from every single dentist we talk to, 98% of dentists we talk to. Those are the 2 pain points. So what kind of insight do you have there, or tools?
Yes. So unscheduled treatment, this goes back a little bit to, I would say probably 2012, when I first had the opportunity to work with, the Mortons and Dental Partners in Louisville, Kentucky, is that I was asked to go and to find ways that I could help them. And so all I knew what to do, as someone who had worked in sales and understood, target marketing and things like that, or to identify the opportunities, was I went into the practices and dug into the practice management software. And I thought, okay, how can this practice connect with more patients? And I stumbled across the unscheduled treatment report, and I started to dive into that, and I pulled it out and I started to study it, and I started to look at it, and I said, this cannot be right. This cannot be right. Like I looked back at, over a 4-month period, 6-month period, and I'm seeing things like, okay, so this patient has $800 worth of work that needs to be done. This patient has $2,000 worth of work that needs to be done. And then I started to add them up, and in like 5 or 6 practices in a 6-month period, it was in the millions of dollars. It was unbelievable. And so I got thinking to myself, I was okay, now I know that a lot of dental practices really, really, really want new patients. And I know they're the lifeblood of their practice and all that. But I started to look at that. I said, something's wrong here. Like, what about the patients you have in the practice? Like, these are people that know you. You guys have obviously spent money on the front end to bring them in. You've identified the work that they need to get done. And now we just need to find a way in order to move them forward to get that care done. And so this passion for unscheduled treatment goes back to then. And now this journey I've been in dentistry, what I've realized is that it hasn't really changed. There still is a lot of focus on there. And I don't know if it's just because we're very fortunate in dentistry, unlike a lot of professions where companies are going out there. If you're a true hardcore entrepreneur, you've got to start from scratch. As you guys know, any customer that you can find and help, you want to help. You want to try the best you serve them, But in dentistry, it was amazing to me. You look at these practices, they all have these patients and they have this. And I'm like, why are you not getting this done? Like, why do you want the new patients? Shut the door for like 2 months and market to those existing patients to try to get things done to there. So obviously, as you guys can see, it's something I'm very passionate about. And I think this whole video piece is really an extension of that, because moving forward, what we want to do is, if we do videos for the practice, we want to talk to these practices about speaking to these existing patients they have in an effort to connect with them, to hopefully have them come in and get that care done.
Absolutely. And this is, I'm sure you can agree as well, but this is conversations we have countless times where new patients seems to be the ultimate goal and the priority all of the time, 100% of the time, when that might not be where we should place all of our focus, and especially money. You don't want to necessarily spend all of this money on new patient generation if we can't get them to accept these treatment plans that are going to make them healthier and make your business healthier, of course, but most importantly, make the patient healthier. And we're not closing, treatment plans. We're not keeping them in the office. You are just spinning and spinning and spinning and spinning and going absolutely nowhere. So yes, I for one share that passion wholeheartedly, and something we talk about a lot. And any dentists that are listening, I would absolutely encourage them to not necessarily put less precedence on new patients, but take a bigger picture view of what could be going on, or what is already there, what's already in your building, and how do we get those people the help that they need, for sure, 100%.
Well, I find too, and I know we've had discussions about this, Allison, is that when we're talking with clients and we're digging a little bit deeper with them, and I think, maybe they've not experienced a marketing company like us, where we're asking them, what are your productions versus your collections versus your active new patients? And we're going to watch those trends as well. And the new patient numbers might be coming up, ticking up, and most marketing companies might say like, hurrah, we're doing it, we're increasing that new patient number. But it really doesn't matter if your new patient numbers are increasing if those total active patients in the practice are flatlining or trending in a negative direction. And the same with production and collection. Something's truly wrong if we can keep generating you new patients, but your collections aren't showing an increase and your active patients aren't increasing. So, and two, I know dentists are busy, and the most important thing to them is to be in people's mouths and doing the art of dentistry.
Right.
But if they're not in their PMS on a regular basis, or partnering with somebody, whether it's their office manager or a consultant, to track these other KPIs, they could be missing out on some really, I call it the fruit on the ground. It's not even low hanging. You just have to pick it up. It's that easy, of keeping patients active in the practice. Why aren't they reappointed when they're walking out the door? What do you have in place to make sure that they reappoint? If they came in for a consult on veneers or an implant and they have a couple $1,000s worth of treatment sitting out there, and we noticed an outstanding treatment for quite some time, what could we be doing to entice that person to come in and complete that treatment?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, and I think the other thing too, there's a lot of myths out there. The myth is that the unscheduled treatment numbers are big because it's all big cases. It's all big implant cases and cosmetic cases. And I would go toe to toe with anybody in this profession. That's not the case. What it is it's a lot of, $700 and $1,200, and it doesn't mean that those big cases aren't in there. And that to me is even more alarming, because what that means is to your point, Christina, those are people that, and it's not always money. That's the other myth. Well, we can't get this because all these patients don't have the money. It's not. I've been there. We've all been there, where I've needed dental work that needed to get done, and I got busy. I was doing all kinds of things, and I'm one of those stats. So it's the practice finding a way to be able to take it seriously. And you said it very well, which is look at finding a way to be able to get those patients taken care of versus getting consumed on the amount of new patients. And I guess in a way, thinking back, I've thought long and hard about this. I just think that dentistry for the years has been very fortunate to be a very, what I'll call, reactive profession, right? If you really think about it, it's the one place where, it's a business, it's a small business where you haven't had to do, at least in the past, it's a little bit different now, as you guys know, where you had to do a lot of marketing to attract people. It's like, I'm in pain, let me go find this business. I walk in. And so it traditionally has been a business where it's been more reactive and hasn't had to be proactive. And so that makes a lot of sense to me, which is, if that's not your mindset, like it is for companies like ours, where we're entrepreneurs and we're out there trying to, help as many people as we can, it's just a different mindset. So it doesn't surprise me, but it needs to be done. It needs to be
absolutely handled. And shared and talked about, and exactly forums like this, just That's first step, talking about it.
Yep.
So you also mentioned something, and this is where I do want to spend a little bit of time, because I had the pleasure of attending a non-dental event back in May, which was actually a healthcare or a hospital healthcare marketing conference in Atlanta, where I did do a little bit of a lecture, and I listened into a couple of other people just to kind of see what are other industries doing that are kind of like ours, but not so specific to dental. And one of the presenters talked about live streaming a surgery. And I was so fascinated that they could get clearance and legal approved it and all of that good stuff. But I was so blown away, and what a brilliant idea to go live and show people what actually happens and what to expect, and the care that they're gonna receive. So when I saw your pre-podcast notes, John, that you were talking about streaming and live streaming stuff, I was like, I hope it's gonna be something like really cool, and seeing like the ins and the outs. Can you tell us a little bit about the live streaming and spending a day kind of in the office?
Yeah, so this is good timing because this is literally happening on Monday, and I just spoke with Dr. Jill Wade. This is a big deal, to your point, and again, like a lot of the things that we're doing, I put like one foot in the pool, and the rest of it I just kind of let organically happen. And just to share you guys what happens this week with a lot of the companies that she works with, it's pretty exciting. But so on Monday, the DentalCast Productions team will be in Dr. Jill Wade's practice in Frisco, Texas for 3 straight days. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. They will be live streaming all day, all 3 days. Starting with the morning huddle. We're going to have cameras set up throughout the whole practice. A lot of people are going to be microphoned, what have you. And for a couple of reasons, to like what you said, Allison. Number one is there any better place than to get education, than to see what really, really, really happens? And there's a lot of great continuing education courses in our profession. There's a lot of amazing people out there that teach great things, that people learn, they get inspired, or what have you. But let's face it, if the dentist is having a conversation in the sterilization center about a tough patient or trying to get them to do something, and they share a communication skill and you see it firsthand, it doesn't get any better than that. Like that's real. So we're going to do that. We're going to be in her practice. She's also doing some pretty cool things, which is what was inspiring for this, as a wellness practice. We hear a lot of times from practices that, well, it takes a lot of time to maybe talk to the patient about their medical history and things like that. We just need to get them in and get them out. And Dr. Jill and her team are going to show people across the whole country live that it's possible, and they've been able to do it. And so we're going to showcase that. Not to mention a lot of the great companies and products that she uses. People are going to see them in, how she's using them, which has been a lot of fun to talk to some of these companies, because they're like, seriously, like she's going to be live using our products. So, yes, I'm very excited to see what happens next week.
I'm so excited to watch this. Where can I watch this?
Yeah, so we're going to be streaming it on 2 different places. It'll be on DentalCast Productions, so you can go to the DentalCast Productions Facebook page. And then also on Strombauer Smile Designs, which is Dr.
Great.
Jill.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll have it streamed on both. And this was kind of a 2-pronged approach, which is half patient education. So we think that a lot of her patients follow her page and we'll be watching there. And the whole DentalCast production side was to educate a lot of those of us as other dental professionals to watch what she's doing, to maybe get some tips and things like that. So it'll be on those 2 pages.
Awesome. I'm so excited. That was like my big takeaway from that meeting was somebody has to do this, and I haven't found somebody to do it. So when I heard that you guys had somebody to do it, I was so pumped, because I think it's going to be awesome. I think it's going to be a game changer too. I think it's going to shake it up and really kind of push the envelope a little bit, and I am all for that.
I like to disrupt just a little bit, just a tiny, tiny bit, because it's just really, really, really fun. And the more you do it, like to your point, the more things come about, the more people get excited about it. And again, for her to be willing to do this, and I told her this, we just talked this morning, this says a lot about her team. Because I mean, if you guys can imagine, you come back, like she's all excited. She, she wants to show the world what she does, and she's very humble, but she's very successful and very good. But to go back to your team and say, all right, everybody, so I want to tell you something. Next week, it's going to be like MTV in here, right? And the fact that they were all on board, they were all excited. I think it's gonna show through, and there's gonna be a lot of cool tips that people will be able to, take away. So
Right. And not even for like the patients to understand what this specific procedure might be or what it entails, but like you're saying, educating other offices maybe on certain areas. I know coming from a medical background, it wouldn't be uncommon that our surgeons would want to videotape a robotic surgery or a new procedure that they were doing or something that was going to be minimally invasive versus the old school way of doing things. That happened all the time and was really common, and they'd be able to publish these videos so that other practitioners could watch them and learn. So I'm excited to see that also now happening in dentistry as well, because as many similarities that traditional medical and healthcare has to dentistry, there's still a little bit of difference in
yeah,
that, something that's very normal for our medical doctors. I love seeing that dentistry is now going to be
yeah,
doing something similar, because
yeah,
Allison has many clients. I have quite a few clients that they're doing really cool things or
yeah.
using technology in out of the box ways in their offices. And I would love to see them do videos on it. So not only can potential patients absorb that information and learn how it doesn't always have to be done the old school way, that there's somebody thinking out of the box and is being innovative, but that their peers could also share in that and realize that, hey, maybe I could be doing things this way too, and also learning.
Well, it all comes
No,
full circle. People helping people helping people. I think that's like that's our motto. Maybe that's what we should have named the whole podcast. It's just people helping people.
yeah.
So,
Yeah, no, it's exciting, and I think interesting. I mean, I'm sure you guys put this together. There's a correlation between this whole unscheduled treatment thing, right? Because if
Mhm.
for whatever reason, if what is shown next week, a couple of practices pick up on a way that she presented or her team presented a procedure to a patient that maybe another practice was struggling on how to get that through. If that helps that other practice just get 3 or 4 patients closer to 100% dental health and chips away at that unscheduled treatment, it was all worth it. Like you
Absolutely.
said,
Mhm.
Gina, it all matters. It's all connected. So deep breath. We'll be live for 3 days, and I'll be watching from home. I actually purposely was like, I can't be there. I'm just going to sit back and watch. So
might be a wise call. Might be a wise
yes,
call.
yes,
I'm sure some people listening might have questions, and we do not need to get into super specific things here. But I'm sure one of the concerns is HIPAA, confidentiality. How are you making sure that
yeah, yep.
all that is taken care of?
Great question. And so that was obviously one of the very, very first things that when we kind of talked about this of, what her thoughts were. And certainly, she's created a media, agreement or whatever, so that anybody that's there in those 3 days, they sign, if they're okay, if they're on video or not okay, that will obviously drive, what the team does as far as where they are. One of the things that we're not going to do, at least that's the way that we've talked about it, is more than likely be filming actual procedures. I mean, we're gonna have. It's more about the what's going on, like with them as a team, and maybe how they're presenting things on a communication side. Not to say that that couldn't happen, but if it does, I mean, certainly Dr. Jill and her team have done a really good job to think about that all right from the beginning to make sure that anybody is there is signs a waiver to know that they
Sure.
acknowledge that they were okay with this. Yeah.
Perfect.
Yep.
Perfect.
Yeah.
I'm
I
sure
know.
people would
Oh,
have several questions.
yeah, like some of these companies I talked to, like I said it to them, and then there's like this long pause, and I know exactly what
It's just
they're like, that's really cool, John, but, and I was like, I know, I got you,
I
so,
hear you. I hear
yeah,
you. Well, this was, I'm sure the I think it was an orthopedic surgeon who did a surgery live, and they have a whole legal department, and but they had no no problems getting all of the approvals they need to actually film. It was some sort of tendon, finger, low risk type of surgery. But again, I think the opportunity is there, and I'm really happy to see that you guys are taking the first steps to go into the rooms with teams.
Well, and I think the final thing on that, which I thought was very interesting from this whole situation, is that unless Dr. Jill and her team are really taking care of their patient base, then I don't think anything like this happens. I don't think that those patients acknowledge that. I think that a lot of her patients are very excited, which I think says so much about them and how they're treating them. And I think it's a great example of, patients wanting to come in and be served by them, so that when you do maybe have to ask them something that for some people may be uncomfortable, they're willing to do that. And that was another big takeaway that I took from this, which is, think about me saying to her, okay, you're going to want to make sure that you get all the, agreement from all these patients. And she felt very comfortable. She felt very comfortable with that, which I would think said a lot.
Yeah, that speaks volumes for sure. For sure. So John, big kind of question of the day here is, if people want to learn more about CE Exchange or DentalCast Productions, or where they can find you and end up on the podcast or be interviewed on the trade show floor, which you do so well all of the time, where can they find more information about you?
Yeah, well, thank you. So dentalcastproductions.com, is where you can go and reach out, learn about the different services that we're offering. You can certainly connect to us through there. CE Exchange Dental, we've got some very, very exciting things coming about that we'll be launching here in the next couple months. So that's kind of another project that we're working on. But I think right now, dentalcastproductions.com, certainly, you can find DentalCast Productions on Facebook and LinkedIn, and we've got a YouTube page, DentalCast Productions. If you've got any questions at all, John at dentalcastproductions.com, or just give me a call, 502-836-6535. I think what I've enjoyed most about this journey is having conversations with people. A lot of the stuff that we're doing is new and different. And a lot of times people, as you guys both know, want to know off the bat, like, what do you do? How much does it cost? And all that stuff. And I find myself, everybody's situation is a little different. Yes. So we tend to have a discovery call with them, which might say, hey, we're getting ready to do this CE course. Tell us what you guys do. How much does it cost? And I always make sure that let's understand what you want to accomplish. Because when you get into this space, and there's a lot of different ways to do it. There really is no one size fits all. So we've tried to streamline that. So certainly people know, what it would cost to do any of the services that we provide. But a lot of it just starts with the relationship, which is really important to me. And so that would be the best way to connect.
I would second that. Basically, just to echo to anybody who might be listening, I'm a little bit biased, but that is the right way to start off on a solid relationship, the right way to see success, the right way to make sure that your expectations as, paying customer are being met, and the kind of vendor, so to speak, that you're working with, that their expectations are being met, is to have that deeper conversation. Maybe your first question is, can you do this? How much is it going to be? Right. But sure. Absolutely be open to being asked follow-up questions, because we want to make sure that we can do what you want, and it's going to be the right fit. Right. So I would just encourage people to be open to that. For sure.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I'm glad you brought that up. I mean, that's the way it's worked with a lot of these meetings we've gone to. I mean, some of the things that we've done, these meetings are like, so let me get this straight. So we got to get you a booth, and you're going to come in, and you're going to get into our Facebook page. You're going to have full control of that, and we're going to pay you. No, wait a minute. What's going on here? You know what I mean? So it takes a little bit of time, and out of respect for them, for those that have allowed us to do this, unbelievable, right there. And I think they're seeing the value of this, which has been so fun for us, because, like anytime you are in this disruptor state, I always tell people, I've always believed that rarely is a relationship one-to-one all the time, as you know, right? A lot of times it's like this side is giving a little bit more than this side. And both sides have to be willing to do that. So big kudos to anybody that's taking a chance on us. That's for sure.
So last but not least, we did talk about you traveling, and you have some time at home now, which is great. But you can usually find John somewhere at some meeting throughout the year. Give us a little bit of an idea of where people can find you within the upcoming months.
Yeah, so things are getting really exciting, as if they haven't been exciting this year, since I know I was with you guys at Jumpstart. And big shout out to Vanessa Emerson. Really, when I
Yes.
think of a lot of these connections and all these people that I've met, I mean, she's created this amazing platform, and now here we are, talking. But I guess as we kind of look out, we've got we're going to be in Washington D.C. with Laura Hatch here in the middle of August. She's doing a live event of which we're going to live stream privately. So anybody that can't attend the event is going to be able to watch virtually, watch her. We'll be there. We're going to be in Las Vegas. Henry Schein One's Business of Dentistry conference is going on. So we're going to be doing some stuff for them. And then as we roll into September and October, a lot of different little individual meetings. Smiles or Dentistry's Got Talent. We're going to be live streaming that. Just all kinds of fun things that are happening on a weekly basis.
Awesome. Well,
Yeah.
if you're at an event and you see John, I would recommend at least, saying hi, talking to him. He's a fantastic guy. Christine and I met him completely kind of accidentally at Jumpstart. I think we sat at the same lunch table.
We did.
And it just was a little bit serendipitous where we spoke the same language and had the same philosophy, and you're not going to go wrong by talking to John. So even if it's a quick coffee or in passing in the hallway, certainly stop, talk to John. He is a wealth of knowledge and will absolutely kind of do whatever he can to help you with whatever it is you're looking for sure. So
Yeah, what a cool lunch. And now you guys have your own podcast, which I'm so happy for you. This is
right.
right. I mean, look at it. You guys you're rocking, you're rolling, and to be on the other side of it has been a real pleasure. So I'm excited for what you guys are doing, and certainly, to learn more about GPM, to randomly have the opportunity to speak with Jen and Erica at the ADOM meeting last week was awesome. And to have them come on and share more about the great things that you guys do. And I wanted to make sure that I asked them, the story of GPM, because it's an awesome story. And they did. So I'm excited for the stuff you guys are doing.
I love it. This is so great to talk, and I'm sure we will continue to talk, and I'm sure we will run into each other at events. But we really appreciate you joining and sharing your knowledge with us today. Thank you.
Absolutely. Good luck with everything, and I'll come on anytime. Anytime you guys want to have me, I'd be more than happy.
Cool. Maybe next time we'll talk a little bit more about those trash team kids of yours.
Oh yes, good old trash team. Yes, that's right.
All right, John. Well, you have a fantastic weekend, and we will, I'm sure, talk very soon.
Sounds great. Thanks, guys.
Thank
All right.
you.
Have a great weekend. Bye-bye.